So next, I watched a film. I really wish I'd seen this one in theaters because I really dug it, and I bet it would have been a fun theater movie. This is Upgrade. Here, there we go. Upgrade. Um, no, no, I just blinded all of you. There we go. Upgrade. Um, it's sort of a cyberpunk, sci-fi, body horror film. And I think part of why I didn't see it in theaters was I thought it was going to be a little more body horror than it was. And it's actually more cyberpunk than anything. And I fucking love a great cyberpunk movie. So I enjoyed it immensely. It's set in the somewhat unknown, unsaid future where there's still mechanics who work on cars, but there's a lot of upgraded technology, including biotechnology, and a really creepy self-driving car that is exactly why I'm never going to get a self-driving car. People can hack into that shit, okay? They can hack into it today. They can hack into it in the future. But basically, the plot is that um, a man named Gray, played by Logan Marshall Green, who is a great lead actor. And if you have not seen The Invitation, please go watch that immediately. Um, he restores old cars, and he's recently sold one to basically an Elon Musk esque wonderkind um, scientist dude. And he is delivering it with his wife, who also works in biotechnology. She works in a company that creates artificial limbs and things for soldiers. On their way home, their super fancy self driving car gets hacked. Has an error, but anyone who knows anything knows it was hacked, and leads them into a bad part of town where they are then mugged, and she is murdered, and he is rendered um, incapacitated. Other than he becomes a quadriplegic. Then the Elon Musk freaky dude shows up and he's like, you know that thing I showed you that's like basically an artificial brain? Let's try it on you. And through his grief, he decides to do this and then track down the murderers of his wife. Now, I don't want to tell you the rest of the movie because it's a ton of twists and turns and things that I was like, wait, what? And I don't want to spoil it. So don't watch the trailer. Just go in and watch it. A couple of things that are hopefully not spoilery. One, there was a non binary character played by a non binary actor. And I thought that was fantastic because you don't get a lot of that. Two, what is her name? Shoot, that would be on here. Betty Gabriel, who was in Get Out, she was the maid in Get Out, is the detective in this, and she is so good. And it's good to see her. Like she's sort of a company player in these Blumhouse films, and I like seeing her pop up. She's very good. I feel like there's a third thing I wanted to say. Oh yeah, so there's like some body horror stuff. I don't want to tell you what it is, but it's sort of like techno body horror. Um, Always fascinating, and then sort of mind shit and all kinds of stuff. There's bits of it that are sort of action packed. It's grimy. It's sort of that grimy future where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and so you have really fancy people with the technology, and then the like poorer people. It's this like tent city kind of stuff, and that's where we're headed. So this could be 10 years from now. Who knows? So I liked it a lot. Just solid, solid um, cyberpunk film. It made me. There were some aspects of it. There were a couple of moments in like there was a scene where they're in a warehouse and there's these people doing VR and they're stuck just doing it. And he asked like how long do they do that, and the person's like I don't know, weeks. And they're like, oh, I'll never understand someone who would choose to live in the fake world. And the response is, the fake world is a lot less painful than the real world. And I think that was kind of a talking a little bit about like people who live on the internet, but also it made me think of, and as someone who lives on the internet, I can tell you I quite love living on the internet. I probably live on the internet less than some people do, though. Um, it made me think of that scene in Inception where everyone is, like hooked into their Inception things and the, you know, like drug addicts, like it's an opium den, but Inception. And it made me think about how I wish Inception were a grimier movie because it's sort of like if Cyberpunk was like dry cleaned or something, and that's depressing. So now I never want to watch Inception again. So you just have Cyberpunk straight up cyberpunky. Like stop dry cleaning it. This is Upgrade. It's written and directed by Leigh Whannell, and I think he wrote the Saw movies, which I will never watch because I don't do body horror. But this is Upgrade, and I liked it a lot. And you can rent it in any number of places, and it's really not as scary as you might think. It's fun and good, and the kind of genre film that we don't have enough of anymore. And I'm glad it existed, and I wish I'd seen it in theaters. And Logan Marshall Green should be the lead in all the movies because he is charming and he can carry an entire movie and he can show a really great range and he should just be in more things. So this is Upgrade and I recommend it.